Overpromised with Covino Rich, presented by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code Overpromised, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
Cheers, big ears.
Órale, los vatos locos forever.
What's up? Hey, best time of the year. NFL playoffs. We're getting closer to divisional weekend.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to Overpromised, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, our bonus podcast, because, well, we can't fit all this fun in 2 hours on Fox Sports Radio.
You saying you can't fit it in?
Yeah.
Well,
Monday through Friday. You're right. Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 Eastern, 2 to 4. Out here on the west side. So we got to talk about wags in the NFL, especially wives and girlfriends. Are they fair game? We'll explain. Plus, Rich's dope picks.
Well, you know what? Because we're down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
8 teams, 4 games. Today, I'm going to hit you up with some same game parlays for the Saturday matchups. Texans, Ravens, Packers, Niners. So I feel like I got some good ones.
Yeah, got to stick around for that. But question of the day, the stats are in. Are you willing to pay for a Super Bowl? You might not have a choice in the future. I say give it like 5 years, because I feel like the NFL just gave us a test and we all failed or passed, however you want to look at it.
However you want to look at it. I think with TV contracts, I bet you that is going to be in the next discussion, because they always have the networks lined up for the next 5 years or so. Next time those negotiations are happening, I wonder if they toy with the idea of some type of paid service.
Well, get this. Chiefs-Dolphins on Peacock was the most streamed live event in U.S. history.
Oh, man.
The exclusive wildcard game garnered 23 million total viewers, according to Nielsen. NBC said in a release that the game set records for the most streamed live event, and was also responsible, get this, for the most internet usage ever in the U.S. on a single date, consuming 30% of internet traffic during the Saturday night game. That's according to CNN Business. So if 23 million people watched it, and all those people were willing to pay for Peacock, $5.99, a streaming service that they may or may not have had, you're going to tell me that the general public isn't going to be willing to pay for the biggest game of the year, which is the Super Bowl? And how much are you willing to pay? Think about it. It happened with boxing. You're saying, oh, it's impossible. Dude, boxing used to be free. You used to be able to watch boxing.
When you were a kid, there were fight nights.
Yeah, fight nights. Or like it would be Wide World of Sports. Like you'd watch this boxing event. You didn't have to pay extra. Pay-per-view became a thing because you wanted to watch these fights. You couldn't miss a Tyson fight, so you were willing to pay X amount.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell me the Super Bowl, which has become a national holiday, people wouldn't be willing to pay for?
Well, I'm going to stop you in your tracks right there, because while what you're saying makes a hell of a lot of sense, right? If 23,
I'm not saying now.
If 23 million people, you're saying the future.
I'm saying give it like 5 years.
No, I'm saying 20 years.
Okay.
What you're saying makes perfect sense. 23 million people decided to sign up for Peacock and watch this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we never thought we'd pay for water, right? Our parents and grandparents, yeah, you pay for water? We pay for apps on our phone. We pay for a lot of stuff that we never thought we'd pay for. We pay for coffee, $6 a pop. You're paying for things you thought you never pay for. Apps, Peacock, Hulu, Amazon, Disney Plus, Netflix. We live in a world of little subscriptions, and they all add up. But I don't think you're crazy. I just think the NFL has won because they're so accessible. You want to watch the NBA. What is your biggest complaint, Covino?
You were so accessible. Now it's all over the place.
But you always say the NBA, the biggest problem
is I can't get a grasp on the schedule and where to find the game. I just can't.
Dude, and you're not the only one. So, is the game on TNT? Wait, is it on ESPN? Oh, wait, is it a local Lakers game?
What time is it?
What days are they playing this week? That is like the casual confusion of the NBA. Baseball, you play mostly every day, you have 2 off days. Hey, is it on, my local sports network? There's so many games. The NFL wins because it's clear. You know what the NFL is. Thursday night, Amazon.
You say it's clear. I say it's a clearly changing landscape.
Sunday, Fox and CBS. Sunday night, NBC. Monday Night Football's on ESPN and ABC. It's so clear and it's easy to find. I think this was
Was it easy for your dad to find?
This was a big test. And I will say, I'll back you up in that if this was a test, we all failed if we don't want to pay for things.
And that's how I see it as well. Again, 23 million viewers, most streamed live event in U.S. history. Now, let's look at last year's Super Bowl, Chiefs-Eagles, right? So again, they picked this game, no conspiracy. It was obvious. It was just good business because they knew that the Chiefs are a primetime team and the Swifties, the casual fans, are also going to tune in. Chiefs-Dolphins, that's a great matchup, so people are willing to pay. Chiefs-Eagles, last year's Super Bowl, 115.1 million viewers across all platforms, just to give it perspective. So that's how many people are watching the Super Bowl. How many of those people are going to be willing to pay? I think most of them. And Rich, when I said to pay, that was no dig on you, bro.
Do you think this is a piece?
That wasn't a knock on Rich's man piece or anything.
I do think, the Super Bowl is the universally watched free event every year. People get together. People that don't like football, let's watch the commercials. Let's have some dips and food.
I'm glad you said that because even Spotty brought it up. Well, how would commercials even matter? Because sponsorships matter, big events like that. It's part of the experience. Dude, we haven't cared about Super Bowl commercials in like 3 years because they've been leaking them online before the game even happened anyway.
A good point.
They'd find other ways to incorporate sponsors on a pay-per-view event. They would figure it out. I don't think we live in that culture of caring about the commercials anymore.
You know what?
That's done.
I think it would be a lot of people that are full of shit, meaning the same way when people say, if that presidential candidate wins, I'm moving. You're not moving. The same way, when baseball went on strike, I stopped watching her. Oh, Kaepernick took a knee. I'm not watching anymore. Those people are all full of shit. Ratings are as good as ever. I think there will be people that said, Super Bowl, you have to pay? I'm out. Meanwhile, they would watch.
Dude, if I'm willing to pay, some of these boxing events are like $75, sometimes close to $100 nowadays. For boxers that aren't even household names yet, really. I'm just a fight fan, but I'm willing to pay, especially if I got people coming by, right? Yeah, I'm willing to pay for that. I think most people watching here on Overpromised would be willing to pay for the Super Bowl. If 23 million viewers tuned in for a wild card game, you're tuning in for a Super Bowl. And paying for it.
Don't let this get back to the NFL. Because, the NFL, the sentiment, to wrap this up.
I think the question is how long you think it's going to be until we are.
The sentiment and narrative of the NFL, though, is don't get too greedy because the NFL, everyone will agree, NFL is king. How can you ruin that? By getting too greedy. And I think we're fine the way it is. But in the future, I wouldn't put it past them. I really wouldn't. All right, let's go over some picks. DraftKings Sportsbook. Where do you want to start? Saturday? Ravens?
Yes, at the beginning. Let's go.
The first game that we're going to get is Houston Texans at the Ravens. And I'm not saying party's over for these young and exciting teams, but I'm sort of saying that. I think this is where the road ends for C.J. Stroud. And you know what? There's no harm in that. Rookie quarterback, rookie coach, DeMeco Ryans.
For the record, I just want to say I don't necessarily agree with you. I don't think there's any great way to tell until we see them match up together. These younger teams are not the same teams from week one. They found themselves. They're playing strong. I don't know, man. These are risky.
I think it's one of those things where you're right. We don't know. And that's the fun of sports. You and I were having this conversation the other day that the most fun part about sports is not knowing and then finding out. And I know it sounds ridiculous and I don't want to get off topic, but you and I were saying when we were in Vegas for Mayweather, Conor McGregor, you might say what a spectacle, but I remember being so anxious because what's going to happen?
How's this going to pan out? Because these younger teams that you just downplayed looked really strong.
Shit, they could go into Baltimore this weekend and Lamar Jackson could be like, hey, young kids, slow down.
Maybe.
I'm the MVP here, right?
I'm all for it.
So here's what I like. I like a same game parlay with the Ravens. Now, Ravens are 9-point favorites. I don't want to fiddle with that. I don't. You know why? Because, Houston, first of all, I don't fiddle. And secondly, I like Houston, so I feel like I'm going to be rooting for them.
Jason Fitz?
I'm no Jason Fitz on my fiddle. I like the Ravens money line, but I'm combining four things. Ravens money line. Get this. Ravens, not total for the game. Ravens themselves scoring over 26.5. So Ravens over 26.5, which I don't think you love because you love that Houston Texans defense.
I mean, they look good. Did they not look good? We were talking about
Against
Cleveland's
Joe
defense.
Flacco, not against Lamar Jackson
But the
in
story
Baltimore.
was the Texans' offense versus their defense.
They
but
flipped it.
Texans' defense looked pretty strong.
And a couple of those are pick sixes. So, go against the Ravens. I don't think it's going to be the same. So I like Ravens money line over 26.5. I like a Zay Flowers anytime touchdown. So a touchdown for Zay and a touchdown over 1.5 for CJ Stroud. Well, I don't know if they win. His throwing touchdown over under is 1.5. So I like Stroud with 2 touchdowns. So over 1.5. Flowers with a touchdown over 26.5 and Ravens win. That pays plus 750. That's a bet 100, win 750. So it's Ravens money line.
I'm going to save my money so I can pay for the Super Bowl in a few years.
Ravens scoring 27. If the Ravens can't score as a number 1 seed at home, 27, I like that. And Zay Flowers, anytime touchdown. And CJ Stroud, keeping those Texans in the game. I think he'll throw 2 touchdowns. So all 4 of those things happen, your hundo turns to 750.
I like it.
Right?
Like it. I do.
Let's move our attention to my 49ers. And by the way, my wife's Packers. Oh. My wife and her family Packers fans, so it's going to be a battle in my household.
I say leave your wife out of it. Otherwise, she's fair game. I'll explain.
We'll talk about players, wives, and girlfriends in a second. But here's my thought, buddy boy. I like the Niners, same thing, money line. Very similar bet. I like the Niners over 30.5. I don't think the Packers, it's not like their defense is what would win them this game. I think Jordan Love and the excitement of that young team would be what keeps them in this. So I like the Niners money line, a well-rested Christian McCaffrey with an anytime touchdown. I mean, how is McCaffrey not score a touchdown? Now watch what'll happen. But I like McCaffrey anytime touchdown. I like the Niners money line. Niners over 30.5 points. They've scored over 30 points in 9 games this year. And 3 games, they've scored 28. So we're talking about a Niners team who puts up points. So Niners over 30 points. They win the game. McCaffrey, anytime touchdown. And I like Aaron Jones on the Packers, 1 touchdown as well. 1 or more. So throw that up there. This is your second same game parlay. Niners, money line, over 30 for the Niners. Not total, for the Niners. McCaffrey TD and Aaron Jones TD.
The most cliche statement I can make is styles make fights, but it's so true even in football. So curious to see how the Packers, with that momentum they got, are going to size up against your 49ers.
You know what? I want to throw it out there to you because you may like this. I know you're not much of a gambling man like I am, but if you wanted to, I didn't throw it up there on the bets, but if you feel like the underdogs, if you're like Covino and you love the Texans and CJ Stroud and Nico Collins and DeMeco Ryans.
It's that I can't count them out after how good they've looked.
But I'm saying if you are Covino style where you love what the Texans are doing, and you also love Jordan Love and what this young Packers team is doing, you could do a teaser bet and get both of those underdogs getting more than 2 touchdowns. Like you could get Packers plus 16, Texans plus 16.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, you could do that. I mean, I just feel like one of those games could get a little messy. I think it's like welcome to the big leagues, essentially.
It could, but we'll see.
I don't know. I don't want to get too confident, but my instinct is that Jordan Love's little chariot turns into a pumpkin come Saturday night in Santa Clara.
We'll see what Ronica Stone has to say about that. You know who that is?
That's
his girlfriend.
The girlfriend of Jordan Love. So lock these in. Like I said, you don't have to bet what I bet, but I'm just giving you my suggestions. I like this 49ers divisional same game parlay and one with the Ravens. It's really a matter of the 2 power teams just sort of delivering. If they deliver, I mean, you're looking at if they do what you think they'll do, those are pretty damn good wagers.
I agree with you, but nothing's been automatic this season. Again, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs, is bringing you an offer that'll help make the playoffs electrifying. New customers can bet $5 on any game and get $200 instantly in bonus bets.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the code Overpromised. New customers can bet just $5 and you're going to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code Overpromised. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus. Age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/football for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
All right, welcome back to Overpromised, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. I believe this guy. I don't know why, but I do.
If you're not a guy with a team in the race, if you don't got a horse in the race, as they say, is the casual fan rooting for Jared Goff against Josh Allen, the Bills or the Lions? One has to finally win a Super Bowl for their city.
Yeah,
but I'm saying, is that the casual?
If you're
answer?
A casual fan, yeah, why not?
The Bucs won with Tom Brady. The Niners, even though they haven't won in 30 years, they have a legacy with Montana and Young. And on the other side of things, Lamar Jackson, he wasn't there, but Flacco won him a Super Bowl. They've won a couple. I just think the sentiment would be, if you're a casual fan, you're rooting for Bills, Lions.
Well, if you're a casual watcher, viewer, listener of Overpromised, definitely check out our show. Again, Monday through Friday, Fox Sports Radio, 2 to 4 out here on the West Coast, 5 to 7 on the East. And we have new prizes. I want you guys to be a part of it. We have a new water bottle we're giving away.
Oh, a Swiggy.
It's called a Swiggy, and it's got that swaggy. The Covino Rich Swiggy water bottle. So if you want to qualify to win, just search Covino Rich wherever you stream your podcast, leave a nice review, or say something nice here, and we'll throw your name in Rich's giant hat, and maybe you could win. All right.
Absolutely.
So look out for that and tell your friends about our show. But again, welcome to our bonus podcast where we got to talk about the wags, the wifeys, and the girlfriends of the superstars we root for, especially in the NFL right now.
Well, oddly enough, this is a conversation about wives and girlfriends, and it's not going to involve Taylor Swift.
No, but she's part of it. She's very prominent.
Do you feel that the wives and girlfriends are fair game when it comes to busting balls and mocking
Smack
and
talk,
chirping on social media? Like, are wives and girlfriends off limits? Because you and I have a rule. Covino and I always say, make fun of me, mock me all you want, but I'm not going to talk about your wife and kids. Don't talk about my wife and kids. That's sort of the man-to-man rule I think we've all established over the years.
Well,
unless, here's the caveat.
Okay.
Unless your wife or girlfriend inserts themselves into the conversation.
Or if you insert them into the conversation,
true.
I'll explain. Because we keep seeing storyline after storyline of wives and girlfriends in the news. You mentioned we wouldn't mention Taylor Swift, but she's out there, and I think she's opening up the floodgates for more exposure for these wives and girlfriends. You know, we're watching them dance, doing the swaggy surf, whatever it's called, the surf swag, whatever that's.
The reality is, all Taylor Swift is doing is going to games, supporting her guy. It's on us that, people are oddly obsessed with her and Travis Kelce.
I'm not saying she's doing anything wrong.
Taylor Swift has said nothing about the game of football other than, hey, I love it. I'm talking about, let's name a few people. I think Matthew Stafford's a great guy. I respect his wife, Kelly. I think she's great.
She's also sort of infamous for being outspoken, even before she was part of the Rams family.
She hops on a podcast. If you remember earlier this year, she joked about how Matthew's not clicking with the guys on the team because he's older. She talks a lot.
And that put him in a compromising situation where it made it uncomfortable.
And by the way, when I say she talks a lot, I don't say that is a necessarily bad thing. I'm just saying, when someone decides to enter the conversation, do they then become fair game, a la Jordan Love's girlfriend?
That doesn't mean that people should be disrespectful assholes. I'm not saying that either.
Yeah.
People shouldn't be trash and go below the belt. But to answer the question, yes. The answer is yes. And it's a simple thing that we have to deal with here on the show. If you're going to talk about, let's say, your love life or your dating life, or post pictures of your family and your wife and girlfriend,
you've sort of made them.
You are putting them out there publicly to be criticized. What are you doing? Talking about it only for great feedback? In today's world, you're going to get negative feedback. So if you don't want that, then don't put it out there. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we just passed the holiday season. You could post a picture of your family, and people might not make fun of your family. They'll be like, "Yeah, your Christmas tree looks shitty." You're like, That's
right.
I guess
you may not want that.
I guess if you
but
put
you
it
know,
out
in today's
there,
world, you're gonna get it, right? And like I said, if I'm gonna talk about my love life and people are gonna criticize it, well, then that's on me for bringing it up in the first place and making it public. Once you make these are the rules, guys. Once you make it public, it's fair game regardless. So again, Kelly Stafford made herself public. I'm not justifying the trashy feedback, but it just comes with the territory.
I mean, the Lions fans, there was a story where Lions fans were booing her kids, and she threw it out there like, yo, we've done nothing but good things for the city of Detroit. Her and Matthew probably did a hell of a lot of good when they were there, and someone actually put out there on social media, enough with the Detroit love. They showed their true colors. F them. And she reposted that.
Well, she was outspoken about the matchup even prior to the game, saying that she thought it was wrong for the Lions fans to ban his jersey while they were competing. So again, I think that just puts the guy in this situation. The guy is Matthew Stafford, puts him in an awkward situation.
Yeah.
So, and if he doesn't have a problem with it, then
who cares?
Then who cares?
No, exactly.
But she's putting it out there, so I think fair game.
And listen, a lot women could defend themselves. This is not trying to sound old school where it's like, hey, she should be quiet.
But guys who are trying to focus on the game and who are making millions of dollars doing that shouldn't have to deal with those distractions. Well, I do believe that. And we're bringing this up, too, because it's been a common theme throughout the past few weeks. We keep talking about
not only
Taylor
the past
Swift.
few
We
weeks.
keep talking about Brittany Mahomes. We're talking about Kelly Stafford.
Well, you remember Brittany Mahomes a year ago, like threw drinks on fans or something. So when wives and girlfriends get involved, I'm not saying don't get involved, but just know that when you get involved, you're pretty much saying, I've inserted myself into the narrative. Fair game.
And sometimes there's a way to do it. Like Joe Kelly, we're talking baseball now, but Joe Kelly's wife recently got herself involved in the Shohei Ohtani story.
But it was a really positive thing where she...
But again, more involved than we've seen in the previous years.
You know who else positively got themselves involved? I thought it was great. My dude, fullback, Juszczyk, his wife, Kristen Juszczyk, is the one designing all these ridiculous outfits for Taylor Swift and Brittany Mahomes. And she also designed a Lions jacket for Taylor Lautner. And she's getting a lot of love for that. So I follow her on social media because
Kristen Juszczyk.
I'm a Niners fan, and I know she's been doing this a long time. You know, she went from like 100,000 followers to over 500 in 2 days.
I mean, she does a hell of a job at it. But again, common theme here, we're talking about them.
But again, she's doing nothing to provoke.
Social media, though, has opened up the floodgates on our accessibility to these people. And that's why. That's part of it. It's just we're seeing that culture shift where it's no longer about the player. It's about the player and who he's dating and what do we think and the wife and, again, how much they put themselves out there.
Kyle Juszczyk is so proud of her repost and everything. That's a positive thing. I want to end with one thing. Not that it's negative, but is this allowing fans to trash talk back to her? Jordan Love's girlfriend was in the stands chirping at all the Cowboys fans when her man, Jordan Love, was putting a whooping on them boys.
Her name is Ronica Stone, by the way, and she's the daughter of, get this, former NFL lineman Ron Stone.
So she knows the world.
So Ron named her Ronica. So that's funny. I bring that up because she knows the world of trash talking. She was also a standout volleyball player at the University of Oregon. So she knows the culture. I'm just saying that for perspective here.
So maybe she could take it more than, maybe that's someone that's not used to that sports world. But take a listen to her at the Cowboys game.
I thought we were them boys. Are we them boys?
Look, it's playful. It is. But so again, very playful. Did nothing wrong. Nobody's doing anything wrong.
No, it's playful and fun. I thought we were them boys.
When you put yourself out there like that, you're going to get some trash. And it is what it is. If it doesn't bother you, then fine. But you're going to get backlash. And you're going to get people hating on you. And it's fair game because you did it publicly. Wow. You can't expect that you're only going to get great and positive feedback or hey, that was funny. That was playful. I think that's sportsmanship. I like it.
That's the lesson of today's Overpromised. When you insert yourself on social media, even with great intentions, just understand by even being there, you open yourself up to trolls, assholes, everybody.
The worst people in the world.
The worst people and good people as well. But listen, if you're going to trash talk or even make beautiful jackets for other players' wives, you're putting yourself out there. Just know what comes with that.
And
we do.
That goes for the regular fella, too, who just wants to post a family picture on vacation. You made it public. Not everybody's a nice person. So keep that in mind. And keep that in mind with your kids, too. Your kids aren't asking to be put out there for ridicule. And that's what unfortunately happens. But, Rich, I just want to tell you, too, it didn't end with Veronica Stone just in her IG story. She also did that on TikTok, saying, just checking in to see if y'all still them boys. Oh. Like, she did it again, like too. What? So she doubled down.
I like it. But you know what? I'll see what she's saying come Saturday night in Santa Clara.
Our wives and girlfriends fair game, I say yes, but do it respectfully.
Fair enough. All right, we'll see you guys next week for another Overpromised. In fact, later this week we'll do another one. DraftKings Sportsbook. Thank you, Fox Sports Radio. We'll see you next time. Arrivederci, baby.
See you in the Overpromised land.
Goodbye.